Welcome back to Watkins Glen International, coverage of the Grand American Rolex Sports Car Series here on Speedvision, about ready to restart after one of the hardest hits we've seen all season long, involving the number 6 prototype machine of Brent Sherman and the number 15 four-door Porsche and GT of Kim Hiskey. Your leader is the 16 of James Weaver and Butch Leitzinger, and here comes Oliver Gavin in that 37 car, strongly into second spot. Boy, he restarted back deep there, but got around a lot of those GT cars.
He did start well back, and he managed to nail them all before he got to turn 1, but he can just see the taillights disappearing around the corner there of the car of Butch Leitzinger. So Oliver Gavin now on a roll, and certainly his team owner, John Fields, had a brilliant first session. You can't say anything else. He drove absolutely tremendously, took a couple of opportunities when they were presented to him by traffic, again taken back by James Weaver. Really had an outstanding first couple of hours of racing here at Watkins Glen.
It has been very competitive between the top 7 or 8 cars on the racetrack, and very competitive in all 5 Grand Am Sports Car Series categories, as we watch the 16 of Leitzinger now and the 37 car with Gavin at the helm. Remember, these 2 cars and drivers battled to the checkered flag at Phoenix just a few weeks ago.
Absolutely. So I was just going to say, the same 2 drivers, the same 2 cars. Of course, we've got a long time to go before the end of this race, but this bodes well for a really strong race right down to the finish, assuming nobody runs into one of these cars that are going to lap time and time again over the next 3.5 hours.
As of the Glen, this is the 21 car, the Gemstar Archangel Nissan Lola. These cars a little bit heavier, no carbon fiber in the tubs in prototype 2, a little skinnier tire, but very quick race cars indeed. 21 car Andy Lally starting that machine. We believe that is still Lally at the throttle of that car. Archangel Motorsports, and then the 2 Porsche House Racing entries, the 89 and the 88, battling for supremacy here. Some thought that perhaps the Porsche House team could take control of the season point battle from Archangel there, but we saw the 89 come to grief a little while ago. And speaking of coming to grief in GT, the 92 machine, serious problems for the Schultheis Racing machine. Ross Bluestein from Weston, Florida, has hit something hard and knocked the front wheels askew on that Porsche.
He has hit something very hard, and he looks to me as if he's still on the racing line. So this is going to be another full course caution, looking in fact at the 21 car that we were just looking at going around him. So
he's at the inner loop at the end of the backstretch, and he evidently plastered the Armco barrier pretty thoroughly there.
Boy, oh boy, he did. He's obviously okay. We see him moving around inside. Well, we assume he's okay. Certainly his upper body's okay. But whatever he hit very hard.
These Porsche GT3s are very stout automobiles, as we saw with Kim Hiskey's wreck just a few moments ago. Take a look at Ross Bluestein here. Down the backstretch, he got out of shape and into the Armco in the middle of the backstretch. Now, he hit the gap in the wall there and threw it right back into the racetrack.
That's what I call very unlucky.
Yeah.
Not very many places here where you could actually get into the gap like that.
Yeah.
And he went straight into that gap, straight as an arrow. He obviously tried to outbrake that blue GT car in front of him, misjudged it by the look of things, and took to the grass instead. It was very unfortunate.
So the caution is waving once again here at Watkins Glen. The starter about to put the full course yellow out, it appears. Take another look at it. He has spun here. A lap ago, he went off the racetrack and into the dirt. I'm wondering, David, if he might have cut a tire down.
Could have done.
And it was losing air pressure, because the way that car turned hard left into the outside wall in the middle of the backstretch, even if he was trying an out-braking maneuver, I would have thought that it was more likely a parts failure might have caused it, or a tire going down.
That certainly could be the case. We didn't realize he had spun earlier. Very easy to be the case, having braked hard there at the end there. If the tire was already going down, especially the left front, that would just pull him through.
Hard left like
that.
Hard left
like that, yeah.
The EFR, of course, very quick. Probably will be able to get that 20 car back into contention. They're sitting 4th right now, but there's a lot of time left to be run. We're not quite to halfway.
EFR was gracious enough during the winter to come up to speak for the Wisconsin Motorsports charity, which I host every year on the second Friday in January, and he came up. We had a great evening. Derek Daly came as well, and we had some laughs, taking points off each other. The 500 people there enjoyed it a lot. We raised $35,000 for our charity. So
well
good
done.
evening.
Once again.
It was great for CFR there. But boy, he looks old. I mean, I don't know how he does it.
But he still feels like a kid.
But he still feels like a kid, and he drives like a kid. He's terrific.
Watching the battle in American GT now. The 09, Doug Goad at the wheel. The 11 car, Kenny Bupp's machine. The 09 machine spent a lot of laps on pit road. We've covered their situation. They actually wrecked during practice earlier in the weekend, and they had heavy repairs to make to that car. Today, they've changed the gearbox in the 09, and now the 09 has retaken the lead in American GT. The 11 car of Bupp and John Levy sharing that machine. They had been out in front. They're on the same lap. They're nose to tail virtually. Just a couple of seconds separating the two. The 11 car was leading, but the 09 with Goad now at the wheel, able to get by and take over the top spot in it. We are back at Watkins Glen International. Trouble for one of the cars that has been dominant here today. The Banana Joe's Lola Judd, the 37 car. John Field and Oliver Gavin. David Hobbs, Field lapping a slower car up the backstretch, got into the barrier thoroughly. He cut down the left rear tire, and he is on pit road to try to see what they can do to get that car repaired and back up to speed. Guy Hobbs is there.
And John Field has brought the car in, got it stopped right on the marks. They're going to change all 4 tires. There was some nasty smoke coming out the back. Also, just to point out that the SR222 has just pulled in right in front. That's going to cause some trouble for these trying to leave the pit. John Field immediately jumped out of the car. Oliver Gavin ready to go. Actually, Oliver wasn't particularly obviously expecting this, and he was over the other side of the wall. So he put his equipment on pretty quickly. Now getting the belt secured on Oliver. The rear end coming off, rear bodywork. Having a look under, having trouble disconnecting the electrics on that rear bodywork. They don't have any. Well, they do have a spare one at the back waiting to come on. Okay, they finally disconnected the cable there, and they're having a look in the back, checking the suspension. Now, well, it looked like they were calling for the new rear bodywork. Left front damaged. Having trouble with the right front tire. Oh, everything's too damaged. That's it. We just got the signal. Yeah, the right rear suspension, the upper arms, a huge break in there. There's no way they can send that back out. That's going to be the end of the day for the 37 entry. Flying back out of the car. Let me see if I can find John Field, who just stepped out of the car. John, of course, he ran in the back of the 09 AGT, and as soon as we get a word, we'll find him and get a word with him, but it's broken right rear suspension. Back to you.
Wow, an incredibly tough break for the team that has run up front all day long. Here it is again, lapping by the Doug Goad, Craig Conway car, up through the S's. The 09 didn't leave him enough room, David Hobbs.
No, the 09 certainly did not leave him enough room there. It could have left him a bit more, but as this race progresses and the track gets more and more debris to the outside, i.e. rolled up rubber, dust and other gravel that we've seen there, it gets offline. It gets more and more difficult for the people who are lapping, being lapped, to get offline, and of course it makes it much more difficult for the lapper to go around people offline. But I think that the 09 car could have given him just a little bit more room there.
So that leaves the lead battle in the hands of the 16 Rob Dyson car. They're on pit road too, John Bizignano.
Stop, 4 tires, filled it up with fuel right to the very last stop, and Weaver is back in the car right now. That was the first stop for this car that I remember under green.
So Butch Leitzinger climbs out of the 16. James Weaver, who started in that car today, is back in now. And David Hobbs, they should have a comparatively comfortable run for the final couple of hours of action here. Let's find out a little more, though, about the Banana Joe's Intersport team situation. Let's go back to Guy Hobbs.
Yeah, we're now down here with John Field. John, obviously, huge disappointment, having a great run all day, and then come up on the back marker a little bit quick. And we talked about this before with you. You said some of these guys weren't checking their mirrors, and it was very busy out there. It's going to be huge disappointment.
Well, I gave the guy the inside line so he wouldn't chop me on the inside. And, you know, as you can see, you watch TV, he hits me sideways. It's very frustrating because it was, I mean, I thought, you know, I was being courteous letting him have the inside line and not cut him off that way, you know, and that's where we've passed all day long. I mean, I need to see the replay, but in my eyes, it was totally unjust on his part, you know. So.
obviously disappointment there right here with John Field and, of course, teammate Oliver Gavin. Just to update you, too, on the Dyson pit stop, I just spoke to James Weaver approximately a minute ago and said, when are you going to get in? He said, oh, about 20 minutes, and sure enough, they came straight in. So back to you guys in the booth.
Doug Goad at the wheel of the 09 car as he was being passed by John Field. Goad may not have seen the 37 car, waltzed him into the guardrail. So the Field team has to park their machine.